Hi, thanks for joining me. My name is Mary. Today we are going to be loosening up tight calves and Achilles tendons. A blanket and a tennis ball will come in handy for today's practice. Let's get started. Begin by coming to your mat and we'll settle in. You could have your knees up, perhaps your feet wide, your knees knocking together. Just find a position where you can find stillness. Just as you settle in, coming into the present moment. Notice your thoughts. You might be thinking about something that just happened, or perhaps something you need to do after practice. Bring your awareness to your breath, to bring yourself into this present moment, into our practice, so you can fully engage. Breathing in and out, and letting go of tension. Settling in, being here, right now. Take a full deep breath in, starting from your belly, moving up towards your ribs, all the way up to your chest, and exhale completely. Let's do that one more time. Full deep breath in, belly, ribs, chest, and then exhaling, drawing your navel to your spine. Now bring your feet about hip-width distance apart. Lift your feet off the ground and then lift your legs up. We're just going to do some gentle stretching of the back of the legs. So hold on to the back of your legs just below the knee. And as you take a breath in, flex your feet and then point your feet as you exhale. So breathing in and out. You might be able to feel that stretch going all the way from your butt to the tip of your toes. So just feeling the stretch and the release. And one more time, breathing in and then exhaling as you point. Bring your feet down. We're coming to a side lying position. So on your side, you could keep your bottom leg bent. You could prop your head up with your hand. With your top foot, start it on the outside of your leg that's on the bottom. So point your toe so your heel will be up, bring your leg up, and then exhale to the point of the outside of that leg that's on the ground. So breathe in and out. And we'll do that a couple times. I just noticed I have a little cramp in my foot, so I'm just going to roll it out. You might have to maybe not point so far. And then down. And then switch sides. You can just roll onto your other side. I'm just going to switch sides so that my back isn't towards you. So same thing, propping your head, your bottom leg on the ground. You could have your knees straight or bent. Find a position that's comfortable. And then find that pointing position where you're flexing your foot and so your toes will be towards the ground, and then lift up as you breathe in and then move to the outside of that bottom foot as you exhale. So breathing in and out, in and out. So you'll feel your whole leg working. So just loosening up some of those muscles. So exhaling. We'll do one more time. So breathe in and out, forward, in and out. Now press yourself up to a seated position, and we'll come to a position where we're going to have our legs kind of in like a Z shape. So bring your right knee towards the inside of your left thigh, and then bend your other knee so that you'll have access to both of your calf muscles. So we'll start with the tennis ball, if this isn't comfortable on your back leg, you can just find a position maybe with a straight leg. So we're going to start on the right leg. So take your tennis ball and we're just going to roll it on the up and down the calf. So just small, gentle rolls. You might feel some spots that feel very tight. So you might want to emphasize a little bit on those areas that feel tight. So not over pressing, but just feeling a slight release. So when you find one of those kind of sore spots, you might want to add a little bit of pressure and just slowly focus on it. And it'll be dependent on where you're feeling the tightness. And then you can also move down towards where your Achilles tendon is, the tendon right above your heel. So we'll just do that, just finding spots that feel like they need some release, that need to let go. And especially if you're a runner or spend a lot of time on your feet, the calf muscles can get really tight. So this is a nice practice. You could do this really every day, just especially if you're experiencing some issues. So now if it is okay to have this other knee bent, now we're going to work on the outside of the opposite calf. So pressing the ball again, just working our way from the top. And then when you find a spot that feels like it's holding some tension or it's a little bit more sore, see if you can just press into that area and then feel a release. And sometimes it takes a while to get that feeling, because you don't want to obviously put yourself in a lot of pain, but feeling that tension and then pressing a little bit and feeling the release sometimes just feels very nice. And once again, moving towards your Achilles tendon, and then we'll just travel up again, just finding any spots that need some release. And then we'll switch sides. So just flip-flopping the legs. So now moving towards the outside of that first calf that we worked on the inside, starting at the top and just rolling down, perhaps stopping at those spots where there's a little bit of, where it feels a little bit more sore, and just kind of working in. And if you do this on a regular basis, you'll notice that as time goes by and you're stretching out those muscles and working the muscles, that eventually it's not going to feel so stark. So I just noticed that right above my ankle, there's where the calf muscle kind of attaches to the ankle bone. That's really tight for me, so I'm going to stop and work on that a little bit. And it's just these really small areas that can have such a profound effect on how we're able to do things in our lives. So taking this time is really a powerful way to take care of yourself. So then you can move on to the inside of the second foot, starting at the top, just working, finding those spots that need extra care and attention, a little bit of extra love, kind of like they're saying, pick me, pick me. And moving down once again, kind of reaching that Achilles tendon and focusing on the areas where you need work, where you're needing a little bit of extra care and love. All right. So we'll just do one more scan, just finding those spots. And we're going to move on to the next thing, but if you need a little bit more work here, feel free to pause the video at this point. So next we'll come into an all-fours position. So bring your hands about shoulder width distance. So your hands will be right underneath your shoulders. Your knees will be about hip width distance. We're going to do a couple rounds of cat-cow. So as you're breathing in, bring your chest and tailbone up. Exhale, arch your spine and slightly sink down to child's pose. And then breathe in, coming back to all fours and then moving right into cow pose, chest up, tailbone up as you breathe in. And then exhaling, rounding your spine into cat pose, tucking in your tailbone, and then sink into child's pose. Take a breath into all fours, right away into cow pose, chest forward, tailbone up. Exhale, arch your spine, tuck in your tailbone, bring your chin towards your chest, and then sink into child's pose. And then come up. So from here, we're going to do something called a toe stand. So you'll bring your toes so they're bent. This might be a spot where you'd like to begin. So just feeling that stretch in the back, the bottom of your foot and in your Achilles tendon. You could come up onto your, sort of like you're sitting on your knees, but your toes will be bent. This can be a lot of pressure, so find a position where you're feeling a stretch but not overstretching. An additional modification is you could take a blanket that's rolled up and place the blanket behind your knees and try that. So that takes a little bit of pressure off the toes. So find what works for you, and once you find that position that feels where you're getting a good stretch but not overstretching, we're just going to stay here for a couple breaths. You could place your hands on your thighs. If you're forward, you could be in a forward position. And begin to bring awareness to your breath. You could say, I'm inhaling as you breathe in. I'm exhaling as you breathe out. And just focus on your breathing as you're stretching. Breathing in and out. All right, so if you have the blanket, you can remove that, and then you can just sit on your knees just to give a little relax, or just come to all fours. So once you've loosened that area up, we'll come back to all fours. Now this time, step your right foot back and then place the weight on the ball of your foot. So you'll be stretching your calf and Achilles tendon. And you could start by maybe doing some rocking back and forth, just finding out where a good stopping point is, moving back and forth. And once you find that stopping point, we're going to hold that. So you could stay here with your foot on the ground, your right foot back, or you could bring your left hand up and your right foot up, but still pointing your toes. So feeling a stretch along your whole body. So bringing your left hand forward, stretching, and then pulling your right heel towards the back of the room. And then come down to all fours. We'll do one round of cat-cow. So breathe in, chest and tailbone up. Exhale, chin towards chest, tuck in your tailbone. Come to neutral spine and we'll go right to the other side. So step your left foot back, ball of the left foot on the ground, and just find that point where you can feel a stretch and stopping point. So rock back and forth. And then once you've found that spot, just hold. You could stay here. Otherwise, you could bring your right hand out like you're shaking somebody's hand and lift your left foot off the ground, still pointing your toes towards the earth, but finding length along your whole body. So stretching your right hand forward, stretching your left heel back, feeling that extension all along your spine. And then come back to all fours. We'll do one round of cat-cow. Breathing in and out. Now bring your blanket rolled up to the front of your mat. We're not going to use it quite yet. We're first going to come into downward dog. So start by bringing your hands about shoulder width distance apart. Spread your fingers and place a little bit more weight on your index finger and thumb. Now curl your toes and bring your hips up, keeping your knees very bent. So you might need to adjust your foot placement. If you feel too much pressure on your wrists, you could just step your feet up a little bit further. So find a foot placement that feels good for you with your knees still bent. Let your neck completely relax. You might give a little yes, no shake just to let those muscles really relax. And we're going to start to walk the dog. So pedaling one foot and then the other. So bringing one heel towards the ground and then the other. The tendency is to move really fast here. See if you can slow it down with breath. So exhaling one heel down. So bending the opposite knee. And then as you breathe in, come up and then switch sides. So bringing one heel to the ground, bending the opposite knee. And then moving with your own breath. Slowly just feeling the lengthening along the calf and the Achilles tendon. And do that one more time on each side. Now look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands, and we're going to come to a halfway lift. So you'll have a very straight back, the crown of your head forward. Your hands could be on your thighs or your shins. And then you can step up to your blanket. So bring your toes to your blanket so your feet will be pressed up. And we're going to forward fold from here. So bend your knees a lot. And then forward fold, let your neck relax. And we'll stay here for a breath. From here, as you inhale, straighten your legs just a tiny bit. Exhale, fold. If it's too much to have your toes elevated, you can simply remove the blanket. So we'll do a few more pulses. So breathing in, straightening the legs slightly. Exhaling, completely relaxing. Folding, having your chest resting on your thighs. Breathing in and out. In and out. Okay, you can move the blanket away. We're going to slowly rise up. Keep your chin tucked towards your chest. Slowly rise up. And then once you arrive at standing, we'll come into mountain pose or Tadasana. So have your feet grounded into the earth, slight bend to your knees. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears and then draw your shoulder blades down and back. So feel the length in your spine. Feel your feet completely grounded into the earth. Take a full deep breath in, arms out and up. Hinge and fold, bend your knees a lot. Tense your fingers, step your right foot back into a low lunge. And we'll just rock back and forth here for a couple of breaths. Now plant your hands, step your left foot back into downward dog. Let your neck relax. Bring your hips up towards the sky and draw your heels towards the earth. So feeling length all along the back side of your leg, from your butt all the way to your heels. Breathe in, come to all fours. Exhale, sink into child's pose. Breathe in, come to all fours, and then step into plank. You could do plank or plank on knees. And if you're on your toes, we're just going to rock back and forth. Now bring your knees to the ground and slowly squeeze your sides as you lower all the way to your belly. Rest your forehead on the mat. Bring your hands alongside your chest. Press the tops of your feet into the earth. Breathe in, slowly bring your chest up. Draw your shoulder blades down and back into baby cobra. We're going to stay here for 2 breaths, breathing in and out. And then when you're ready for your exhale, lower your head down. Press into all fours, curl your toes, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Now look towards your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Hinge and fold. Press your feet into the earth to rise up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Let's do the other side. So take a full deep breath in. Hinge and forward fold. Bend your knees a lot. Let your neck relax. Now step your left foot back into low lunge. Breathe in, let your chest come up. And then we're just going to rock back and forth in this lunge position. Now plant your hands, step your right foot back to downward dog. Once again, bringing your hips high up to the sky, drawing your heels down towards the earth, letting your neck relax, and just letting the length of your legs expand, let the muscles expand. Breathe in, come to all fours. Exhale, sink into child's pose. Breathe in, back to all fours, and then into plank or plank on knees. If you're on the balls of your feet, we'll just rock back and forth a couple of times. And then everybody lower to your knees and then squeeze your sides with your arms as you lower all the way to your belly. Breathe in, come to baby cobra, shoulders down and back. Exhale down. Breathe in, lift a little bit higher, still keeping your shoulders down and back. And then exhale down. When you're ready to take a breath in, press into all fours, curl your toes on your way to downward dog. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift, really straight back, crown of your head forward. Exhale, hinge and fold. You could still have very bent knees. Press your feet into the ground to rise up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Now bring your chair to the front of your mat. And we're going to start by stepping your right foot back, almost into a high crescent position. And from here, so typically in crescent pose, you're on the ball of your feet, but we're going to bring our heel towards the ground. So it's nice to have the support of the chair as you're kind of finding that stretch. You could bring your hands to your hips. And just settling in. And then when you're ready, we'll just switch right to the other side. So step your left foot back, starting in a crescent pose. So your feet will be like they're in two tracks, so that'll give you more stability. And then when you're ready, you can lean in and really stretch the back leg, feeling the stretch along the calf and the tendon. So either using the chair, perhaps bring your hands on your hips, and then coming to standing position. So you can move the chair out of the way, and we'll come back to our backs, and we're going to do the same position that we started with. So bringing your legs up, and we'll just do point and flex. So breathe in, flex, exhale, point. And you might feel that you're a little bit looser now after practice. So pointing and flexing. And this is a really nice exercise to do when you first wake up and right before you go to bed. Just tuning into your breath as you're moving and stretching. Breathing in and out. Okay, you can bring your feet down and then come to a position that's comfortable. It could be Shavasana. Perhaps it might feel good to have the blanket under your knees. So find a position where you can find comfort and stillness for the last little bit of our practice. As you're settling in, see if you can notice any places that you're holding tension, and just use your breath to let that tension go. So bring awareness to the area as you're breathing in, and then as you exhale, see if you can let that tension go. So you might start at the top of your head, noticing if there's any tension in your head, your face. Take a breath in and then see if you can let the tension go, feeling the tension melting away. Moving down towards your neck, letting the muscles of your neck relax. First bringing awareness, taking a breath in, and then exhale, release the tension. Bringing awareness to your shoulders, breathing in, exhaling, releasing the tension. Bring awareness to your arms, breathing in, and then exhaling, letting go, relaxing. Bring awareness to your back, your upper back, and mid back, and low back. Breathe in, and then as you exhale, allow the tension to melt away and feel yourself melting into your mat, sinking in, settling in. Bring awareness to your legs, your thighs, your knees, your calves and ankles and toes. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, completely relax. Notice if there are any areas that still feel tight or tense. Take a breath in, and then use your breath to relax those areas as you exhale. Now that you're relaxed, take this time to take care of yourself and just let go. Allow yourself to heal. Allow yourself to let go. There's nothing to do, nothing to plan. This is your time to simply be. Bring awareness back to your breath, noticing your inhales and exhales, and begin to lengthen your breath. So feel the oxygen and energy start to come into your body, bringing life force and energy, energizing. And as you continue to breathe deeply, you might notice some movement in your fingers and your toes. When you're ready, roll onto your right side. You could use your right arm as a pillow, perhaps drawing your knees up towards your chest. And take a moment here to thank yourself for taking time to take care of yourself. Thanking your body for doing all that it does for you. When you're ready, you can press yourself up to a seated position. Draw your hands to your heart. Thank you for practicing today. Namaste.